So let's start with the training of Smart IVR. So first of all, let's log into smartivr.in. This is the URL where we log in generally to develop our IVR solutions. So we have admin account, and I'll show you exactly how the IVRs are developed. Basically using the IVR version 3 right now. So once you have logged in, you can see my name is appearing here, and you can see that the web admin panel here on the left bottom corner. Once you click on that, you'll be asked the domain and username. I'll let you know about this domain and username later on, but right now let's just focus on creating the IVRs. Admin. Now you can see there are several IVRs already built in this username and domain. So there are several kind of IVRs that we deliver to your customers, starting with missed call IVR, then general virtual number solutions, and outboard solutions. So each of these IVR have their own specific functionalities. And to begin with, what I'll do, I'll not tell about the solutions that we're selling. I'll let you know about the functionality of each node of the IVR, how the IVRs are developed, and what exactly are the key areas where we should focus when we're developing or catering to a particular need of the customer. So you can see several tabs here. That is IVR, sounds, log, scripts, allocation, and throttling. And here there are two versions of creating IVR: create new IVR 2.0 and create new IVR 3.0. Generally we go by 3.0 version because this is the latest one. Now once I click on this create new IVR button, you will probably see this is the one. This is the window where we develop our IVR call flow, and these are the details. Let's focus on this new object. What exactly is the function of this new object? Now when I click on this plus sign on the new object, you can see several objects appearing here: a case, call conference, CDR, where ops, up to till web. Now I'll let you walk through each of the nodes, what exactly are the function of the nodes, and how do we incorporate all these nodes in an IVR program so as to achieve our objective. Now let's start with simple node, that is the simplest of all, that is the sound node. Once you click on this sound node, and you can see the sound node has appeared, and on the top left corner there is an I mark, and it says when you hover your mouse over it, it says object property. So object properties is once you have set a sound node, you have to set properties for that. And for example, when you call, let's say, ICICI Bank, the first message that we get from ICICI Bank is welcome to ICICI Bank. Press 1 if you want to speak to a sales guy, press 2 if you want to speak to a support guy, and press 3 for any other queries. So this is basically a sound file that ICICI Bank has used in an MP3 format in the IVR, and that is achieved by uploading a sound file in the MP3 format and including that sound in the sound node. Now once you click on this I object property, you can see select direct sound option. Now once you go down here, there are several. These are actually sound nodes already uploaded in the domain. That is why these sound nodes are visible. So let's say car trade welcome. This is the car, and now let's say given variable name to this, that is car trade underscore sound, welcome sound. So now done, and now we have developed our mini IVR, first smallest IVR using a sound node, and we have to go now first sound IVR underscore Rohan, maybe training, and save and close it. So basically what we have done, we have created a IVR. You can see first sound IVR training. We have created this IVR, and in this IVR what we're trying to achieve, when someone calls on this IVR, he will just hear a sound node that is welcome to car trade, nothing else. So now we have developed the IVR. Now for each IVR that we develop, we have to assign a DID, that is a mobile number or a landline number to that IVR in order to enable someone to call on this IVR, because we have to call on a number, right, in order to receive these messages, or in order to receive these sound files to be played at the IVR end. So let's go to this allocation tab. You can see there is a tab on the right of this IVR, that is allocation. Let's click on this allocation. Now you can see IVR and the receiving number. So let's go to choose number and let's go to landline and go. You can click on this number and this number will be assigned to this IVR. Now this is expiry time, that is up to what time the number will be assigned to this particular IVR. Now once we go and click on this calendar, and let's say I give the date of Saturday, and now assign. Once I assign, you can see it says here successfully assigned IVR to number this, your order ID is this. So basically this is the number where someone will call in order to listen the sound file that we have included in the IVR. Now let's go to the IVR and see the number here. This is the number and you can call. Now let's call on this number and let's see what is happening. I'll just dial through my mobile. It is 01130945238. I'm calling.
Welcome to cartrade.com. We are now connecting you to the seller of the car.
So when I call on this IVR or on this number, I could hear the sound file, welcome to the cartrade.com. So that is the basically functionality of a sound node. It helps you, put pre-recorded messages into the IVR, using which you can, design your solution. Now let's go to another new node. That is, now in order to add a node in an IVR, you can see a plus sign under this sound box. You click on this plus sign and a new hexagonal box, that is new object, appears. Now I click on this plus sign and let's go and select call transfer. Now call transfer is basically, you must have come across several companies where they say press 1 to speak to a sales guy, and suppose you pressed 1 and then the call is transferred to the sales guy. Now how does it happen? Now let's click on the object property of the call transfer. Here you can see several parameters, several fields appearing. Now this is provide phone number, that is you have to provide some number here, plus 919999999999. Let's say this is the virtual number. This is not a real number, this is just a number I'm putting. And now I'm provide variable to store status, that is I'm storing the status of this number here. I'll explain you what exactly this agent underscore number does. Select whole music file, that is default, that is what sort of sound file you will hear when the call is being transferred to the receiver. This the format is MP3 and mono, and we are done. So you can see the call transfer node is now not showing red sign. Red sign means the property is yet not set. Now it is perfectly set. Now I go and save and close. Now when I call on this number, when I call on this IVR, that is this number, when I call on this number, the call will be transferred. First of all, the sound file will be played, this sound file will be played, and the call will be transferred to this guy. Whoever this guy is, the call will be transferred to this guy. So this is basically, the function of call transfer, and we generally transfer all our calls using the call transfer node. Now there are several ways of transferring a call. Suppose I have two salespeople sitting with me who are actually ready to receive the calls, and we have three mechanisms of transferring the call. That is, first one is sequential, second one is parallel, and the third one is round robin. Sequential call transfer is, let's say, in terms of two people, let's say A and B are two people, A comma B. So let's say A is a number, mobile number or landline number, and let's say B is another number. So when I want to transfer the call in a sequential sequential manner, that is, the first call always goes to the A, if A does not pick or disconnects the call, then only the call goes to B. That is basically the sequential call routing. So I have to mention a comma sign between the two numbers, that is A comma B. So in real life, I'll set like this: plus 91 1 2 3 4 5 comma plus 91. So this is the way I have to define here. You can see I have added two number here. So these two numbers are actually in a sequential call routing manner, and when someone calls on this IVR now, the first call always goes to this guy. If he disconnects or cuts the call or does not pick, then only the call will be going to this number. This is called sequential routing. In case of parallel routing, I have to use, I'll delete this comma, I'll use this pipeline, and this pipeline, what it does, it enables the call to go both the number parallelly. That when someone calls on this IVR, this first number and second number, both the number A and B, both will get the call at a time, and whoever picks the call, he generally speaks and the other call automatically disconnects. So this is basically parallel call forwarding. There is another method, round robin. In that case, the first call goes to the first person, the second call goes to the second person, and the third call goes to the third person. This actually we do at our backend because it is slightly complex complex to do in IVR. So now I have covered this. Now let's go to another node, that is DTMF node. Now you can see DTMF is basically when you try to capture input from the customer's end. That is, suppose when I am trying to get a debit card information from the customer, or get a PIN code from the customer. Generally you can see when you call the ICICI bank or any bank, they ask please enter debit card information, and you enter your 16-digit debit card number, and then they ask you the PIN card in order to validate the debit card. And once you do the validation, they generally let you go through the call routing, that is they let you speak to the customer care executive, whoever is there, because she'll have all the information once you have validated. Now how do we do that? The main purpose of DTMF node is to enable us to achieve that objective. So DTMF basically is the full form of DTMF is dual tone multiple frequency. When you click on this object property, you can see several tabs. Let's say these are the provide minimum number of digits. This digit actually what it does, as I already told you, in case of debit card we enter 16 digits through our mobile keypad. So that is the digits, how many digits the DTMF node is expecting from us, that we have to define here. In terms of debit card, we can press 16 and provide maximum number of digits, that is also 16. So no user who has entered 15 or 14 digits or maybe 17 digits will not be allowed to pass through, because the number of digits we require from the user end for a debit card validation is 16. So let's go with a small example. Let's say I just want to take one digit from the user. Suppose there is a small company and the user calls on this company. They say press 1 for sales and press 2 for support. So let's just design that IVR. So now when I press 1, so the user is just pressing 1 or 2, and 1 or 2 are just one digit number, and that is why we are defining a minimum number of digits as 1 and maximum number of digits as also 1. Now provide maximum tries. This is, let's say this is 3. These tries are basically number of times we allow the user to enter a wrong entry or maybe does not enter any entry. That is, suppose let's say press 1 for sales and press 2 for support, and the user keeps on entering 3 or 4. Then we allow the user to maximum 3 times to enter 3 or 4, because 3 or 4 are not valid options. And as long as the user is putting invalid options, the IVR will prompt, okay, this is the wrong message, this is the wrong input, and that will happen only 3 times because we have provided the maximum number of tries at 3. The provide wait duration is, let's say, 6 seconds. This is how long the IVR should wait before it expects the user to enter the key or the input, presses the key. and this is the output variable. I'll tell you what exactly this output did. Say this is dtmf underscore output. Now these three are sound file. These are the sound file. Let's say international conference, enter pin. No match sound file is wrong pin. This is no input sound file is no input. Now you go to advanced tab. These sound files actually what they do. This sound file says please enter your pin. So that is any pin it is asking. Let's assume that it asks press 1 for sales and press 2 for support. And if I press 1 only, then I'll be directed to the sales guy and I'll be able to speak to that guy. And if I press 2, then I'll probably speak to the support guy. So this is the way I want the IVR to be developed. Now this is no match sound file, that is in case apart from 1 or 2, if he presses 3 or 4, then this sound file will say you have entered a wrong pin or a wrong code, please re-enter. In case of select no input sound file, this is a no input sound file. It says you have not entered an input, and that it comes to know after this 6-second wait duration expires. Now let's go to the advanced tab and let's ignore all these. Let's just focus on this one line, that is provide DTMF rejects. Let's click on this, and this is what actually I basically define my valid input. That is as I told you, press 1 for sales and press 2 for support. So I have to define here 1 is the valid input and 2 is the valid input, and rest all other inputs are not valid. And for that I have to define 1, 2. And let's say in some cases they say press 9 to speak to a receptionist or customer care executive. Let's define 9 also. So I have 1, 2 and 9. These three are valid input. Now done. Now let's delete this call transfer. The call will be transferred after the DTMF. Delete this node only. So initially the sound is welcome to cartrade.com. Then it will ask press 1 to speak to our sales guy, press 2 to speak to our support guy, and press 9 to speak to our customer care executive. Now you can again see a plus sign. Now we go here and click on this case. Case is basically used when you have conditional clauses. That is, if the user has pressed 1, what should we do? If the user has pressed 2, what should we do? And if the user has pressed 9, what will be the next course of action? Now if I click on this case, it says provide variable. As I already told you, in DTMF node we have saved this DTMF underscore output variable, and this variable actually stores the user input from his end, whatever he enters. So if I pressed 1, DTMF underscore output will save 1. If I press 9, it will save that. So let's go here, and we are providing this variable. We provide this variable, and number of cases is 3 because we are passing 3 variables, 1, 2 and 9. We are giving options of 3 extension to our customer. Now this is 1, this is 2, and this key is 9. So basically we are defining if the user has pressed 1, what should happen? If the user has pressed 2, what should happen? If the user has pressed 9, what should happen? Let done, and I expand this case. You can see the case has expanded and there are objects coming. Now I'll tell you this about this default node. D is for default, and let's now go to this. I click on this first object, that is the call transfer. This is also call transfer. This is also call transfer. Now this call transfer is to sales agent. This is to support agent, and this is to receptionist. Now I'll just transfer, as I already told you, these are basically now I'll put the sales guy number. Let's say the sales guy number is 1. This is sales underscore agent, whole music file, default mp3, and not done. Similarly I'll go here plus 912 support underscore agent, default p3 Done. Now again plus 91 3 receptionist, select whole music file, default. Now what we have done as of now, so the customer calls on this DID, that is the DID is this DID, this number. And after that he hears the sound file, welcome to the cartrace.com. We are connecting to the seller of the car, and then it asks for a DTMF input, that is press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, and press 9 if you want to speak to a receptionist. We have defined all these here, 1, 2 and 9, and in the case we are comparing the variable, the input that the user has put to 1, 2 and 9. In case of 1 he puts, he is connected to sales guy. In case of 2 he is connected to support guy. In case of 9 he presses, he is connected to the receptionist. We are done. Now what about this default? Now apart from 1 to 9, if the user presses something wrongly, that is wrong input, then sometimes we allow the user to pass on, assuming that the user does not have much knowledge about it, and we pass on to our, maybe you can say, board line number. So let's say this is default call transfer, and we pass this to our, let's say board line number is plus 91 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, all 9. This is board line. So we are done with our IVR. Now let's go and say we'll close this IVR. So done. Now if you again open this IVR, you will find all these notes attached here. So this is the function of a case. It allows you to compare the variables and allows you to do the next course of action on the basis of the condition we have specified here. Now in case, and now I will tell you about a go node, that is, if I want to delete this default, let's assume I delete this default and I add another one. Sorry. Now what is I'm doing? Now what I did? Now instead of now what I do? Let's say I'll press. There is you can see there is a go to mark here. If I click on this go to, sometimes you see by default they ask sales guy. I'm transferring the call to sales guy by default. Press 1 to support, press 2 receptionist, and press 9 if you want to go back to the main menu. That is, the main menu is here, or let's say from the beginning. So go to actually helps us or enable us to go back to the main menu. So when you click on the properties of the go to, you can see select object ID. There are several object ID which I have developed. Now if you see here, the object ID of sound is 1111, object ID of TTMF is 1133. So I can maybe put 1111, that is here, and provide maximum pass 3. Done. Now in case now the user presses 9, that is 9, he will again go back to this 1111 sound node. Again it will start from the beginning. That will, he will go back to the main menu. This actually solves the purpose of going back to the main menu in case the user has missed some option or missed out hearing anything. Let's close it. Now we have covered DTMF. Let's see what other nodes we have. DTMF is done. Case, go to, sound, call transfer. Now let's see. I'll show you what exactly is if else. Let's go and design a new IVR. So let's say I'm developing a conference IVR for a company, and they want a conference solution from us. That is, we will provide them a DID or a number on which they will call, and it will ask for a conference pin to them. If they enter the correct pin, then only they are passed to the conference. else they are not allowed. So let's say I begin with the DTMF. I go here, I provide my maximum number of digits, that is 4. Here 4, maximum try is 3, wait duration 6, DTMF underscore output, and I select the source. This is enter the pin. This is wrong pin. This is no pin. Now in case of 4 digits, there is no need of specifying the provide DTMF regex, because it is a dynamic variable. We are not asking the customer to press 1 or press 2. We are asking the customer to press the 4 digits, and we cannot define the 4 digits. It can be any pin. So now we are done with the DTMF node, and we close it and we expand it. Now I'll show you the use of if else. If else is the node, and I click on the object property and provide the variable, that is DTMF output, and I compare that to my conference pin. Let's say the conference pin is 5555, and I've done it and expand it. There are two things that is coming. One is the true node and the false node. True is the action we will execute when this condition is true. That is, if the DTMF underscore output entered by the user is 5555, that is true, then what will be our course of action? Let's say I'll come to this var ops. What is the var operations? Now I will put call conference here, and if it does not put 5555, it will say just, let's say I hang up the call, that is wrong pin, hang up the call. So I'll just come to this, what exactly these var operations are. Call conference. Call conference is basically, they allow us to get into a conference call with several users. Maximum number of users that we allow in Nolarity is 10. So let's say I provide phone numbers 1212345 12345, comma +91 12345 12345. Select moderated means unless the moderate, let's say I define this, now these two numbers are moderator number, unless these two people are present in the conference cannot start. So I'm putting it as false. This is conference underscore var. Select whole music file. This is default and done. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm asking the user to enter a pin. If the user enters the correct pin, that is, if the users enter 5555, then I am in case of true, that is, then I'm making the user to join this call conference. Else I'm just hanging the call. That's all. So this IVR does that. So in order to test now, we can whatever DID that we have assigned on this IVR, we have to call on that number, and after calling it will ask for the pin input, and if you enter the correct pin, that is 5555, then I'll be allowed to join to the call conference. If it enters something else apart from 5555, then the call will hang up. This is basically the function of call conference and var ops. Now let's go conference IVR, conference underscore IVR, and save and close it. So now see, we have developed two IVR. One is for sound IVR training, another is conference IVR. Now let's go, let's see what other node we can add. There is another feature we have. I'll go and create a new IVR. There is another feature we have, that is, you can see in call pre-answer and in call answer. Now what exactly these two nodes they do? In case of in call pre-answer, when I click on this, there is no object property because it is a default one, and I click on this and I, let's say, transfer the call to a guy. This plus 91. So we are done. So let's say this is a short IVR where someone calls on number assigned to this IVR, and then the call is transferred. In case of in-call pre-answer, the call is transferred to the guy, that receiver, and the caller is not billed. For example, let's say A is calling B. Maybe A is calling B. When A is calling on this DID, that is, let's say this is in call pre-answer IVR, save and close. I'll show how it happens. I go to allocation, I will allocate a number on this IVR landline. Successfully assigned a number this. Now you can see number is assigned. Now when someone calls on this number, he will be connected to this guy, that is plus 912345 12345. This is the number. The call will be forwarded once he calls. Now let's say this is suppose, let's say Mr. A has called on this DID and this is Mr. B's number. So I'll tell you how it happens. See, here A calls on DID, that is A calls on this number, DID this. Now in the IVR call transfer is made to us. Let's say this is B number, let's say Adrian, and let's give the name to Ben. So this is the basic IVR we have developed. Adrian calls on the DID this that has been assigned or allocated to the IVR, and in the IVR the call is transferred. So when Adrian calls on this DID, the call will be transferred, and when Ben picks the call, Adrian and Ben, then they can speak to each other. Now when I'm adding in-call pre-answer, the Ben mobile will show timer, that is when the call is picked at the Ben side. Adrian will not be charged until and unless Ben picks up the call. So basically I'm just transferring the call to Ben without picking the call before Ben picks up. Now in case of in-call answer, when Adrian calls, then the IVR picks the call and plays a sound file such as please wait while we connect your call. So in that case, Adrian is charged by the telco, and even if Ben does not pick, still Adrian ends up paying the call minute. So this is the difference between in-call pre-answer and in-call answer. So when in-call pre-answer is there, I call on the DID or Adrian calls on the DID, call is transferred to this number, that is Ben number, and only when Ben picks, Adrian is charged. That is, Adrian mobile starts showing off the timer. Okay, the Ben has picked, and Adrian and Ben they speak, and the call is over. But in case of Adrian calls on the IVR, when IVR has in-call answer, then immediately the IVR picks up the call. It says, please wait while we connect your call, and then it tries to Ben, and finally when Ben picks up, the Adrian starts talking. So basically the call transfer duration that happens, that the time the call transfer duration is taken for from Adrian to Ben, that is the extra time that IVR, that adds up to the overall time the Adrian and Ben they have spoken to each other. So this is the difference between, because in some customer they say, okay, when someone calls on a DID, let's say press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, and someone calls on the DID, then they ask press 1 for sales, and you press 1 and it will say please wait while we connect your call to a sales executive. That wait duration, that wait time is basically the call transfer time that the IVR is trying to make to the sales guy, and you are on hold and you are paying money for that because your mobile timer has started the moment the IVR has started playing. So that is achieved by in-call answer. But in some cases the customer wants, okay, when someone calls on my DID, directly the call should be forwarded to an agent. So in that case, I will not pick the call, I will just use in-call pre-answer and forward the call to the agent number. That is the major difference between these two. So if I want to pick up the call, I will just add a note below, in-call answer, and I'm done. Now I can play any sound file here. Again, let's say welcome to cartrade.com. I'm done. So when now someone calls, he will first hear the message, then the call will say please wait while we connect your call, and by the time Ben picks, then Adrian will be able to talk to Ben. Now I'm saving and closing this. So we have now, let's open the first IVR. We have now covered everything mostly, and let's now go to, we have, okay, record. Record is basically, we provide, the caller to leave a message after a tone. Sometimes what happens, all our sales guys are busy and we are not able to take the call of the customer. But since all our customers are important, what we do, we let the customer leave a message after a beep so that we can hear the recorded message from the customer later on and we can call him back. So this is achieved by using this record sound. When you click on this record, it says provide record time, that is for how long we allow the customers to record his message. Let's say 40 seconds. Provide silence time, that is, let's say initially 5 seconds. Resources is VM or PFSR. Output variable, let's say record underscore var. Provide output URL. This is, let's say, any URL. Basically we generally save using our Nolarity applications, that is APIs. MP3 mono. So it asks for some variable basically. So now what we're trying to do, you can see when now we have added all these parameters, and let's say provide record time is how long we are allowing the record the user to leave a message. Then provide silence time, that is, let's say please leave a message after this beep. After the beep has happened, that is the ting sound, I'll wait for 5 seconds and then again I'll prompt that please leave a message after this beep 3 times, and the message that the recording is done is in an MP3 format, and these are the parameters. Now once this is done, we have a panel that is called a long report, where we store all the call data record. I will show you what is a CDR, that is a call data record. Now once I delete this, let me delete this and add a CDR. This is a CDR. CDR, as the name is an abbreviation of call data record, that indicates all the call logs that we have received on a particular number. That is, and just show an example what exactly is a call log. Now here what I'm trying to do, I am capturing this pin in DTMF underscore output. Now I will just copy this and I will put this information in a CDR, that is this. Done. Or maybe, let's see now how it happens. I'll go and save and close. This is our first IVR. This is not the number and this is the number. Let's now call on this DID. Okay, this is the 1-digit one. Let's try on the 4-digit pin code, that is conference IVR. Let's try on here. Yes. So I'll just ask the pin, 4-digit pin. So let's see what pin I have entered now. I'll call on the DID, conference IVR, and I'll check. Do I have any number? No number. Let's go and allocate a number to this conference IVR. That is choose number, landline, go, and allocate a number, provided expiry time, and I'm done. So now when I call on this number 011 3094 3094 5248 248, I'm calling.
Please enter your 4-digit PIN.
So let's say I entered 4567. The call disconnected. So basically, let's see what pin I entered, because as we know that 5555 is the correct pin, and I have not entered the correct pin, else it would have connected me to the conference. But I have entered something else. Now let's see what did I enter. So that details can be found. This, once you go to the allocation tab, you can see here there is a call. It says successful calls. So again you have to go hover your mouse and download this report. Save and let's open it. Now you can see there are so many information. Now you have to see this field that is here. This thing that is the unique one, you have to copy it and let's new document and let's paste it. Now I'll search for my input DTMF underscore output. See, I am able to see 4567 here as DTMF output. So I have entered 4567, and because it was not 45555, my call ended. But in the CDR, the data or the information that I have provided is captured. The basic purpose of CDR is to capture the input or capture all the data related to a particular call, because it has all the data. You can see so many information here. That is, when the call was done, hang up time, then answered or not, the call was answered, DTMF, then leg B hang up calls, IVR flow, a lot of caller IDs. This is the caller ID. I mean, this guy, this is my number. I called, so it comes in caller IDs. Then expiry time, how long the number is assigned to the IVR. All the details, and this is the call number on which I have called. So this guy called on this DID or this number and provided this information. So I can extract all the information from CDR. That is the function of CDR. So now we have covered CDR also. Now let's go and see what is the purpose of this email. You can see email, right? Email is basically sending of automated mail to someone on the basis of condition. Let's say I see if the if my agents are picking calls or not. Suppose the call is transferred to all these guys, that is sales guy, support guy and receptionist. Now I want to know if they are not picking the calls. I want to, let's say I am the owner of the company and these sales guy, support guy and receptionist are below me, and I want to know if they are not picking the calls, an automated mail should come to me that, hey boss, your sales guy has not picked the call, please check, like that. So now I'll explain the function of this sales agent. Now in case of when a call is transferred to a guy, and when he picks up, now suppose here the call is transferred to this number, and if this number, let's say this is Ben, and this Ben picks up the call, then the sales agent will have this number stored. And if Ben does not pick the number or does not pick the call, then sales underscore agent variable, this will have false stored in it. So what I'll do, I'll just click on the plus sign. I will go and add an if else condition here, and I'll check if sales underscore agent, that is equal to false. Done. Then what I'll do, if it is true, then I'll send an email to me. This is provide subject, sales guy did not pick. That will provide two email, that let's say I'm the owner, let's say I'm trainer owner at .com. Content, your sales guy or guy in sales does not answers customer queries. Basically this will be the subject line, this will be the information that goes, this is to the owner. Variable, let's say this is. So my email is done. So what I'm doing, the sales guy does not pick, then in sales underscore agent, the value that will be stored in case it does not pick, that is false. It is false. So once I click on once I select this false, in case of they're not picking, then I'm sending a mail to the owner of the company. If he's picking, I'm just hanging the call up. That's all. So this is the functionality of email. Now let's say I delete this and I want to say I want to show you the use of VAROPS. What exactly VAROPS does. VAROPS are these nodes. When you click on this, now these are called node, VAROP, variable operations node. Yeah. Variable operations node are basically, they enable you to do mathematical operations on that. Let's say, suppose I want to calculate the total amount of money that a customer incurs when he orders a pizza. Let's say I'll create a new IVR. I will put a DTF node here. I'll ask, that is, press 1 if you want to buy pizza, or press 2 if you want to buy burger. It is 3, 6, so 5 DTMF underscore output. Let's say I store the sound file, that is enter pin, that is wrong pen, and this is no input. Let's say I provided DTMF regex as 1, 2. Now I open it, I add a case and f underscore output, and I select two cases, in case 1, case 2, and I'm done, and expand it. So what I'm trying to do, I'll just ask, in case, let's say the user, the press 1 to order pizza or press 2 to order burger. So let's say he has pressed 1, then he will go to this. Now again I will take a DTMF here and ask how many pizza you want. That is 1, and let's say this is 2, 5, this is maximum price, sorry, 3, this is 5, number underscore pizza, how many number of pizza he wants, and the variable will be stored here. Let's see. I'm done. So what I'm trying to do, in case so let's say he has selected pizza to order, and I'll ask, okay, how many number of pizzas you want to order, and then on the basis of the, he makes an order, I will create a var ops here, and I will calculate the final amount that he has to pay, and I'll let him know over the phone itself. Okay, so let's say he has ordered 4 pizza, then how much money he has to pay. So what I'll do, I will just define pizza underscore price here. Let's say one pizza is 300 rupees. Fine. Now I can do the operations as I told you already, that the number of pizzas he has ordered is stored in a variable that is number underscore pizza. So now let's say pizza underscore total, that is the total value of pizza or total money that he has to pay. This pizza underscore price into number underscore pizza. Done. You can see I am storing the value of number underscore pizza. So basically what I am trying to do, I am multiplying 300. Let's say I ordered 4 pizza. So pizza underscore price is 300. Number of pizza I have ordered is 4. So 300 into 4, that is 1200. 1200 will be stored in pizza underscore total. Now let's say I'll email him, or let's say I email him. Total bill to, let's say the customer information I have, let's say this is mark@gmail.com, content total pizza bill is, we have to pass the parameter in this format, dollar curly braces. Let's see what is the pizza variable, that is pizza underscore total. Pizza underscore total here. So whatever value pizza underscore total has, that will be passed in this mail to Mr. Mark, that is total pizza bill is 1200. That's all. This is the use of var ops. var ops actually performs several mathematical operations which actually enable us to provide real-time value to our customers. That is, let's say he has ordered garlic bread also, so finally it will add up all the information together and it will say to the customer, okay, this is the bill. So we can instantly generate bills, and we can instantly tell the customer, okay, this is what you need to pay in order to successfully make the delivery. That's all. This is the function of var ops. So we are left with ring ready. Ring ready is basically nothing but a sound file, default sound file that will allow to ring for for a particular period of time. That is, it provides a tring sound when you call someone. It says like tring. So ring ready solves that purpose. It allows you to call to a DID, and until or unless someone picks up, the ring time will be, there will be no external sound file, only tring will be there. So that is the purpose of ring ready. And hang up, when you put a hang up after the node, the call immediately disconnects. So finally, this is the sub IVR. The sub IVR is basically IVR smaller to a bigger IVR. Let's say I have my head office in USA and I have my operations running at India. So what is the function of sub IVR? What I'll do generally, I'll just show you how I achieve it. I have my office, main office in USA, operations side office in India. So I'll have a main IVR in USA domain, and I'll have another IVR in India domain. So basically here I'll show you what are the domain, what sort of domain I'm talking about. If you go here, USA, see this is USA, and if you go allocation here and if you choose a number, you can see USA numbers here. There is no Indian numbers. So basically now I'm handling the USA IVR. So these IVR will allow USA customer to call on this number. Now we are out of India, we are totally at USA, and let's say my head office is at USA. So I will create an IVR here, main IVR, which will say press 1 if you want to speak to our sales guy, press 2 to support, and press 3 if you want to speak to our Indian center. So in that case, when someone presses 3, the call will be transferred to the Indian center, and in India, that is in www.smartivr.in, that is India, I have my IVR in India, that is, let's say first IVR SIVR training is my IVR in India. So what I will do in USA call transfer node, that is, let's say, I'll just give an example here. Yeah, this is the IVR in India. Let's copy this number. Let's copy this IVR also, create copy, using domain. I'm copying the IVR to admin. So I go here, see the IVR has been copied. I will this is, let's say, USA IVR update. I click on this. So what I'll do, I'll ask here this, let's say this sound file says welcome to carpet.com USA office. I'll get the input here, press 1 for sales, or press 2 for support, and press 3 for whatever that. So now let's say this is India office. So there's a press 1 to speak to a sales guy in USA, support guy in USA, and there's Indian office. So when I'm trying to just hold on. So in the Indian office IVR, what I'll do, I will, in the call transfer node, I'll pass this number, that is the Indian IVR. Boom. Done. So basically I'm transferring the call from USA to India here, and if I save and close, so and USA is my main IVR, in India that is my sub IVR, that is this IVR. So that is the function now. This is how we define the sub IVR to the main IVR. And finally, I think we are done with the training. Thank you for your time and patience.